So hello, good day everyone. Once again, this is Merlin Pradilla, an agriculture student of Mindanao State University, Buog Campus. So for today's video, we will talk about or we will discuss about the agricultural marketing. So the concept and its definition. So definitions of agricultural marketing. So the term agricultural marketing is composed of two words, agriculture and marketing. So agriculture generally means growing and or raising of crops and livestock, while marketing encompasses a series of activities involved in moving the goods from the point of production and to point of consumption. So as we can see, agriculture is cultivating or the cultivation of the crops or raising of crops and livestock, while the marketing is the movement of the product from point of production to point of consumption. So some of the definitions of agricultural marketing are given below. So a human activity directed at satisfying the needs and wants through exchange process, according to Philip Kotler. So the performance of business activities that directs the flow of goods and services from producers to users. So the study of agricultural marketing comprises all the operations and the agencies conducting them. So it involves in the movement of farm-produced foods, the raw materials and their derivatives, such as the textiles from the farms to final consumers, and the effect of such operations on the farmers, middlemen, and consumers. So this is according to Thompson. This definition does not include the input side of the agriculture. So, importance of agricultural marketing. So, agricultural marketing plays an important role not only in stimulating production and consumption, but also in accelerating the pace of economic development. So, it is the most important multiplier of agricultural development. So, as we all know that agriculture is the backbone of our economy. So, it also plays an important role in our not only in the production and consumption, but also in the economic development and the multiplication of agricultural development. So next is the importance of agriculture marketing. First, the optimization of resource use and output management, increase in farm income, the widening of markets, growth of agro-based industries, the price signals, the adoptions and spread of new technology, employment creation, addition to national income, better living, and creation of utility. So, importance of agricultural marketing, it gives or it produces employment or livelihood to a person or to the farmers. It also it also one of the reason for us to have a better living. So, the special characteristics of agricultural commodities are given below. So, first is the perishability of the product. So, most farm products are perishable in nature. So, but the period of their perishability varies from few hours to a few months. So, their perishability makes it almost impossible for producers to fix the reserve price for their farm and grown products. So, the perishability or next is the seasonality of production. So, farm products are produced in a particular season of the year. So, they cannot be produced throughout the year. It leads to intra-year seasonality in the prices. So, as we all know that there is always different season and different products or different crops. So, next is the bulkiness of products. The characteristics of bulkiness of most farm products makes their transportation and storage difficult and expensive. So, this fact also restricts the location of production to somewhere near the place of consumption or processing. Next is the variation of quality of products. So, there is a large variation in the quality of agricultural products, which makes their grading and standardization somewhat difficult. There is no such problem in manufactured goods because they can be produced of uniform quality. So, sa the variety of the products. Next is the irregular supply of agricultural products. The supply of agricultural products is uncertain and irregular because of the dependence of agricultural production on natural conditions. So as we observed that not every time that there is this one product in the market. So because as what I've said a while ago, every crop has its own season. Next is the small size of holding and scattered production. Farm products are produced throughout the length and breadth of the country, and most of the producers are small size. So this makes the estimation of supply difficult and also creates problem in marketing. So next is the product pricing. Apart from the problem in estimation of total supply in a small farm agriculture, an individual farmer faces a typical marketing situation. So, as his share in total supply is very small, he cannot influence the market supply. So, next is the processing. Most of the farm products need some kind of processing before consumption by the ultimate consumers. The processing function through adds value, increases the price spread of agricultural commodities. Processing firms enjoy the advantages of monopsony, the oligopsony, and duopoly in the market. This situation sometimes creates disincentives for the producers. So the drivers of growth of agricultural marketing in India. First is the technological change in agriculture. So technological developments in agriculture, such as the evolution of high-yielding varieties of seed, increased use of modern inputs and cultivation practices in the agricultural sector. So it has resulted in substantial increase in farm production. The marketed surplus of agricultural produce has therefore increased. This has resulted into the growth in the marketing system. So next is the specialization. The tendency towards increasing specialization by farmers and regions in certain crops or livestock has resulted in an increase in their efficiency and a breakdown in the self-sufficiency of the family unit. So next is the urbanization. Urban people are the main buyers of agricultural surpluses. So the urban population of India has increased significantly, which necessitated a faster growth of agricultural marketing activities. So the rate of growth of urban population is much higher than rural population. So it is due to rural-urban migration. So which has further increased the importance of marketing system for farm products. So next is the transportation and the communication. So the increase in transportation and communication facilities has widened the market for farm products. So the length and breadth of the market to which a product is taken from the production areas have increased. In the absence of these facilities, the movement of products from one area to another was limited, and the consumption of a product was restricted only to the areas of production or at the most to nearby areas. So the transportation and the communication. So characteristics of a developed market. So a developed market is a sine qua non of any developing economy. It should satisfy the objectives of marketing system for all the persons associated with marketing on the process of the movement of produce from producer to consumer. So first is the developed market, in which we can see that our customers or the buyers are satisfied with our marketing process or the movement to produce our own product. So good developed market should possess the following characteristics. So first, a good developed market should provide commodities which the consumers want and are ready to pay for. So second, it should provide a wide variety of products to the consumers so that they may easily choose for themselves. The varieties should not be so wide as to create confusion for them. So there is no harmful products should be offered for sale in the market. So precaution should be taken to protect consumers. So next is the information and the presence of goods in the markets and their relative merits should be available to all prospective consumers. There should not be any pressure on the consumers to buy products from particular trader or class of traders. So the retailing services also should be available in the market. So together with wholesale facilities for small consumers. So prices should be fair and uniform for the products for all the category of consumers. So there should not be any wastage or products in the market. So the producers should be able to sell the surplus quickly and to get a price which is consistent with the demand and supply of situation. So an adequate and efficient storage, transportation, and processing facilities should be available. And also, the proper grading facilities should be available. So the methods of packaging should be as per the requirement of different farm products. So good developed market should process everything what I've said. So there is the precaution about the products for this and those, and then there is also the proper grading for the facilities of the product, and then the methods of the packaging. So next is the problems in agricultural marketing in India. So first is the improper warehouse. There is an absence of proper warehousing facilities in the villages. Therefore, the farmer is compelled to store his products in pits, mud vessels, or kucha storehouses. So these unscientific methods of storing lead to considerable wastage. So because of the improper warehouses that India has or India have, so there is this wastage of the crops produced. So second is the lack of grading and standardization. So different varieties of agricultural produce are not graded properly. The practice usually prevalent is the one known as DARA, sales wherein heap of all qualities to produce are sold in the common lot. So there are also lack of grading and standardization in agricultural marketing in India, which is not good for the produced product. So next is the inadequate transport facilities. So transport facilities are highly inadequate in India. Only a small number of villages are joined by railways and pulka roads to mandis. So produce has to be carried on slow-moving transport vehicles like bullock carts. So they also have don't have this good transport facilities which can lead to easily move the products from the manufacturer to its consumers. There is just this slow moving transport that they called bullock carts. So the presence of a large number of middlemen. So the chain of middlemen is in the agricultural marketing. So it's very large that the share of farmers is reduced substantially. So the middlemen, they have the large number of middlemen in which they get their shares. They get big shares of the farmer, in which it reduces it lessens the price income of the farmers. So the malpractice in unregulated markets. So even now, the number of unregulated markets in the country is substantially large. Aratias and brokers taking advantages of the ignorance and illiteracy of the farmers. So they use unfair means to cheat them. The farmers are required to pay arhat or pledging charge to the arhatias or tulay or the weight charge for weighing the produce, palidary to unload the bullock carts, and for doing other miscellaneous types of allied works, or the garda for impurities of the produce, and a number of other undefined and unspecified charges. So they also have the malpractice of unregulated markets. So which is not good for them because they cheated the farmers. So next is the inadequate market information. It is often not possible for the farmers to obtain information on exact market prices in different markets. So they accept whatever price the traders offer to them. So with a view to tackle this problem, the government is using the radio and television media to broadcast market prices regularly. So India also don't have the adequate market information. So in order to deliver, or in order to give the prices of their products, they use the radio and television media to broadcast it to the people. So next is inadequate credit facilities. So Indian farmer, being poor, tries to sell off the produce immediately after the crop is harvested, though prices at that time are very low. So the safeguard of the farmer from such forced sales is to provide him credit so that he can wait for better times and better prices. So they also don't have the adequate credit facilities. So need for market regulation. So under the traditional system of marketing of agricultural products, producers-sellers incurred a high marketing cost and suffered from unauthorized deductions of marketing charges and the prevalence of various malpractices. To improve market condition with a view to creating fair competition conditions, so there is a strong need to market regulation. So second, a regulated market is one which aims at the elimination of the unhealthy and unscrupulous practices. So reducing marketing charges and providing facilities to the producer-seller in the market. So having a regulated market, it eliminates the unhealthy and unscrupulous practices inside the market. So next is the objectives of market regulation. So to prevent the exploitation of farmers by overcoming the handicaps in the marketing of their products. Second, to make the marketing system most effective and efficient so that farmers may get better prices for their produce and the goods are made available to the customers at reasonable prices. So next is to provide incentive prices to the farmers for inducing them to increase the production both in quantitative and qualitative terms, and to promote an orderly marketing of agricultural produce by improving the infrastructural facilities. That was the objectives or the aims or goals of the market regulation. Excuse me. So producer surplus of agricultural commodities. So producer surplus is the quantity which is or can be made available in the non-producing population of the country. So from the marketing point of view, this surplus is more important than the total production of the commodities. So the knowledge of producer surplus helps the policymakers as well as the traders in the following areas. So framing sound price policies. So price support programs are an integral part of agricultural policies necessary for stimulating agricultural production. So the knowledge of quantum of marketable surplus helps in framing these policies. Next is developing proper procurement and purchase strategies. The procurement policy for feeding the public distribution system has to take into account the quantum and behavior of marketable and marketed surplus. So similarly, the traders, processors, and exporters have to decide their purchase strategies on the basis of marketed quantities and different farm products. So next is checking undue price fluctuations. A premise of magnitude and extent of the surplus helps in minimization of price fluctuation in agricultural commodities because it enables the government and traders to make proper arrangements for the movement of produce from one area, so where they are in surplus, to another area which is deficient. The knowledge of market surplus also helps the traders and the government in decisions related to storage. So next, export and import decisions. Advanced estimates of the surplus of such commodities which have the potential of external trade are useful in decisions related to the export and import of the commodity. So if surplus is expected to be less than what is necessary, the country can plan for imports, and if surplus is expected to be more than what is necessary, so avenues for exporting such a surplus can be explored. So next is the development of transport and storage system. The knowledge of marketed surplus helps in developing adequate capacity of transport and storage system to handle it. So, types of producer surplus. So, the producer surplus is of two types. So, the marketable surplus and then the marketed surplus. So, marketable surplus is the quantity of the produce which can be made available to non-farm population in the country. It is theoretical concept of surplus. The marketable surplus is the residual left with the producer farmer after meeting his requirement for family consumption, farm needs for seeds and feed for cattle, payment to labor in kind, payment to artisans, carpenter, blacksmith, potter, and mechanic, payment to landlord as rent, and social and religious payments in kind. This may be expressed as follows. So, MS equals PC, where MS means the marketable surplus, P is the total production, and C, total requirements. So, it is for family consumption, farm needs, payment to labor, artisans, landlord, and payment for social and religious works. So, next is the marketed surplus. So, marketed surplus is the quantity of the produce which the producer farmer actually sells in the market. So, irrespective of his requirements for family consumption, farm needs, and other requirements. So, the marketed surplus may be more, less, or equal to the marketable surplus. So, factors affecting marketable surplus. So, first is the size of holding, the production, price of the commodity, the size of the family, requirement of seed and feed, the nature of commodity, and the consumption habits. Those are the 7 factors that affects the marketable surplus. So, next is the market intermediaries. So, in the movement of agricultural commodities from producer to consumer, the role of market middlemen or intermediaries has increased in the recent past because a substantial part of the produce moves through them. So, middlemen intermediaries are those individuals or business concerns which specialize in performing various marketing functions and render services involved in the marketing of goods. So, market intermediaries, these are those middlemen or those brokers who deal with the investor or with the other businessmen. So, next is the market intermediary. So, first is the merchant or middleman. So, these are the examples of market intermediaries. So, merchant or middleman, the wholesalers, the retailers, the itinerant traders, and village merchant, and then the masha kakors, the masha kakor. So, next is the agent middleman. These are the commission agents, those agents who has the commission if they have sell or they sell something, just for example the land, and then they for commission agents and the brokers. Next is the speculative middlemen, the processors, then the facilitative middlemen. So just for example, the hamias or the laborers, the weighmen, the graders, that transporters, the communication agency, the advertising agency, and then the auctioneers. These are those who facilitates those who facilitates for the products to be sell or to be sold. Next is the market. The word market comes from the Latin word mercatus, which means merchandise or trade or a place where business is conducted. So in common parlance, a market includes any place where persons assemble for the sale or purchase of commodities intended for satisfying human wants. So as we all know that market, it is the place where the buyers and sellers interconnected with each other. Here we can see the relationship between the buyers and the sellers. So components of a market. For a market to exist, certain conditions must be satisfied. So these conditions should be both necessary and sufficient. They may also be termed as the components of a market. So the first, the existence of a good or commodity for transaction. The physical existence is, however, not necessary. So next, the existence of buyers and sellers. Business relation or intercourse between buyers and sellers, and demarcation of areas such as place, region, the country, or the whole world. The existence of perfect competition or a uniform price is not necessary. So, classification of markets. So, on the basis of location or place of operation, there is this village market, the primary market, secondary, the terminal, modern terminal markets, and then the seaboard markets. The next is on the basis of area coverage. Local or village market, the regional market, national market, world or international market. Then on the basis of time span, a short period market, periodic market, the long period market, and then the secular market. Then on the basis of volume of transaction, the wholesale and the retail markets. On the basis of nature transactions, the spot or cash market, then the forward market. Next is on the basis of number of commodities in which transaction takes place, the general market and specialized market. On the basis of degree of competition, in which we can see the perfect markets and the imperfect markets. On the basis of nature of commodity, the commodity markets and the capital market. On the basis of stage of marketing, the producing markets and then the consuming markets. So, 10th is on the basis of extent of public intervention, the regulated market or unregulated market or informally regulated markets. So, 11th, on the basis of type of population served, the urban and the rural markets. So, next is on the basis of market functionaries and accrual of marketing margins. So, on the basis of as to who are the market functionaries and to whom the market margin accrue. So, market may be classified as farmers market, cooperative market, and general market. So, that was the end of my presentation. So, sorry for any technical problems or speaking problems. So, I hope you've learned something from what I've discussed. So, thank you for watching and God bless.